psyche야 인생은 마치 바이킹야 창창한 나의 앞길야 난 다시 한번 화이팅 Yeah that's my psyche야 인생은 마치 하이킹야 올라가는 정상길야 난 다시 한번 화이팅 무대 위에 무대포 놓질 않은 큰 배포 I'm the top 앞서 나가는 애들 싹 다 잡아 싸그리 모아 댐벼 현상 수배 긴장 타라 명사수 제거 돈 체크하기 전에 마이크 체크 어킬하기 전에 미리 백업 트랜삭스로 담아 흡입해 봐줘 난 괴물 굳이 빈자리에서도 문들어가는 퇴물 그것들 꿀꺽 하고 싶어 삼켜 필요 없어 다 집어 삼켜 펑 터지는 플래시 에이 신발은 항상 fresh 에이 걸어가는 red carpet 에이 멋있어 강즐겨 이렇게 자신감은 나의 재능 에이 swag on my body cause I slay 척하지 마는 oh no fake 멋있어 강춤 춰 이렇게 That's my psyche 인생은 마치 바이킹야 창창한 나의 앞길 난 다시 한번 화이팅 Yeah that's my psyche 인생은 마치 하이킹야 올라가는 정상길 난 다시 한번 화이팅 I wanna be like Michael But I'm not a moonwalker Cause I'm always moving forward When I'm landing at the brand Go yard 또 폼 잡으면 reaction no guard 내 표정 see through 환히 더 보여 뚫어보는 차만한 눈빛들 하나같이 충혈듯이 벌컥해 무서워 yard 번쩍이는 조명 속 춤사위 이거 랜덤 게임 주사위 던져지는 바로 지금 이 순간이 움직여야 할 때 just do it That's my psyche 인생은 마치 바이킹야 창창한 나의 앞길 난 다시 한번 화이팅 Yeah that's my psyche 인생은 마치 하이킹야 올라가는 정상길 난 다시 한번 화이팅 난 끊임없이 노력해왔어 뭐라건 짓거리건 두 귀를 막았어 그게 아니라고 날 묶어놓고 가둬갔어 차라리 깊은 잠이 낫겠다며 두 눈을 감았어 살의 분별조차 안 가면서 달콤해 사탕 발린 말들을 씁쓸하게 삼켜 했던 날들이 이젠 아무렇지 않아 나 열받은 머리 위로 부는 시들한 바람은 훅 하고 지나쳐가는 몇몇의 사람과 나눈 열정의 대화는 가벼진 만담만 그 열정 하나만 보고 가다 보면 다른 걸 잃어가나 봐 현실 날아가 수많은 고심 끝에 내리고 내린 결정 자신을 의심해온 나의 결정 본능에 맡기고 점점 올라가는 정점 인생의 마침표는 내가 알아서 점쳐 펑 터지는 플래시 신발은 항상 fresh 걸어가는 red carpet 멋있어 강즐겨 이렇게 자신감은 나의 재능 swag on my body cause I slay 척하지 마는 oh no fake 멋있어 강춤 춰 이렇게 That's my psyche 인생은 마치 바이킹야 창창한 나의 앞길 난 다시 한번 화이팅 Yeah that's my psyche 인생은 마치 하이킹야 올라가는 정상길 난 다시 한번 화이팅
기분이 째져 에이 who's the best dresser 환경 100m 누가 제일 튀어 잘 되면 셀럽 못 되면 평생 we 셀럽 내 개성은 시대를 안타커스 나는 세핑 모든 게 다 세핑 옷에 엿을 걸쳐도 브랜드 묻는 게 I'm too sexy 헌집 두 곳에 프리미엄이 붙어 2배 3배 4배 yeah 나는 세핑 11년째 freshman 유명세를 거둔 현찰 대신 스펙을 스택신 You're not selfish 남의 맘만 selfish 난 취향을 감춰 그래 내 second 칸은 수수께끼 Show and prove it symbol 넌 볼 수 없는 임금 The king is back 다시 거시고 한만영 그래도 근본은 절대 못사 눈팅으로 배운 너의 street fashion 뚜까 배고파
기분이 째져 에이 who's the best dresser 반경 100m 누가 제일 튀어 잘 되면 셀럽 못 되면 평생 reseller 내 개성은 시대를 안타커스 나는 세핑 모든 게 다 세핑 옷에 옷을 걸쳐도 브랜드 묻는 게 I'm too sexy 헌집 주고 새집 프리미엄부터 2배 3배 4배 yeah
하마나 오늘도 미치게 하겠지 work 이유는 뻔하지 새로운 옷 하라니 위치 건마 하지마 건방 빌린 게 티나서 bro 이제 여름이 오니까 준비해내 목에다 채워질 라이트 체인 1, 2, 3, 4 옷을 새는 것도 지겨움 and you think I love my hate want any change 우리 엄마 생일마다 새 가방이 생기지 신기록 갱신 우린 없어 배신 나는 매일 새지
What's up? What's up, y'all? Guess who finally decided to make an appearance on one of these streams? Cheeto. Do you remember Jim from Glory Guitars? He's saying hey in the chat. Goodness. See how long he'll stay here. I actually don't think he's having it right now. Let me let him down. Go ahead, buddy. All right. Oh, yo, what's up? Empire Radio's here. Wow. Who, for Empire Radio, who do I have the honor of speaking to? Is this Drew or Jeremiah? Let me know. Hey, what's up, Jeremiah? And welcome, everyone. If the number that I see over here is correct, looks like there are 10 people, which is amazing. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to... Yeah, Jeremiah, I've read some articles about the Mando trailer dropping. But welcome, everyone. Welcome to the January 2023 Ask Me Anything, where all of you ask me anything. So I'm not going to waste too much time. We can go ahead and dive in. So the way this went was I actually put out a few posts on my YouTube channel earlier this week. You guys submitted some really amazing questions, and so we're going to start things by going through all of those questions and answering all of them, and then of course at the end, if we have time, I'll open it up to the chat. So chat, if you have questions while we're going through these, hold on to them. Don't throw them out there quite yet, because I'll get distracted. And yeah, we can go from there. How's everyone doing? Oh, Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. I hope 2023 has been good for most of you. I know the weather has been crazy over the entire US right now. It's been insane. I know, Jim, y'all got what looked like 12 feet of snow in Minnesota, and the East Coast, all of my family on the East Coast has been getting crazy storms. I'm in LA, for those of you that didn't know, and we've had tons and tons and tons of rain. That's just like North Carolina. It's crazy where I used to live. So I hope everyone is safe. Happy New Year. Starlin's here. What's up? What's up, y'all? All right. I'm gonna give it one more minute, and then we're gonna dive into these questions. So again, if you've just joined, welcome to the January 2023. Forgot what year it was for a second. Ask Me Anything. We're gonna start by going through questions that were submitted by everyone on my YouTube channel, and then towards the end, I'll open it up for chat, because I'm sure we're gonna have a ton of conversations popping off. Hopefully, that would be amazing, and then more questions will come from that. So we're gonna do that. Thank you so much. I'm guessing this is for Starland. This is Ash, right? Just want to make sure I address who I'm actually talking to. Okay, sweet. All right, everyone. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Shall we? So 6:05, let's get going. So first and foremost, I wanted to start by answering questions from my YouTube channel members. For everyone that doesn't know, you can actually join the channel, and it's literally like the equivalent of Patreon, but on YouTube. I had a Patreon for about a year, and it was amazing, but I decided to move everything over to this platform because everyone's here already, and it's a seamless experience. And if you join, you get stuff like tutorials. So if you've ever wanted to learn my actual covers, note for note with tabs, they're there. One of the tiers grants you access to an MP3 library. So if you've been wanting to listen to my covers off of YouTube, that gives you the ability to do so. And then one tier, which is crazy, offers you a monthly lesson with me, to offer you what little I can in terms of guitar knowledge, and we can do whatever you want. So if you're interested in that, head over to my YouTube channel, the channel page specifically, click the join button, and then all of the information for the tiers and the pricing I will show up for that. So first and foremost, I do have one question from an existing channel member, One Cosmic Beauty. And I don't know if she's here. So either way, I hope she'll see this later because I'm answering her question first. So she says, I would like to ask, what are your goals for your channel for 2023? Which is a huge question, right? It's a very open-ended, very serious question. But to sum things up, you know, obviously I want to continue to grow, but I think more importantly than the growth is, for me, continuing to offer the very best I can and continue to improve, right? So one of my personal goals for the year is, which I've done so far pretty well on, is practicing guitar more frequently every day, which is something that you would think as a guitarist of like almost 15 years now, it would be something that I would be doing regularly. But life gets really busy sometimes, as we all know, and I do not practice as much as I'd like to, right? So little behind the scenes look, sometimes there are some weeks that I'm so busy that the first time I pick up my guitar in a week is when I'm sitting down to work on a new cover. And then I play really intensely for like 2 or 3 days to write all the parts and record it and get it out for everyone. And then I might not play again for a while. And obviously that sucks, and I don't want to be doing that. So this year, a lot of my personal goals are about improving, and I want to carry that into the channel. So I want to get better at guitar. I want things to improve musically. I want to learn more about mixing because my mixing skills are very amateur. I want to learn more about editing and about the cinematography side of these covers and improve that in different ways. And so one of the main goals is improvement all around. This channel is very heavily, you know, like a guitar cover channel, and I've been branching out to other things, and the goal has been to provide an overall just really entertaining experience for all of you, right? You choose to watch my videos, and so in every aspect, that's what I want to work on, pushing the boundaries and improving, like, how can I make my covers more entertaining and interesting? How can I make my reaction videos more entertaining? You know, and I really want to continue to building this amazing community, because I've got like a really strong group of like really vocal and supportive people, and I think that's amazing. And so you know, we've all been brought together for our loves of music and K-pop and the artistry that goes into that, and so I want to continue celebrating this community and continue growing it. So that was a very long-winded answer, but I would say, of course, growth, but I want to improve. I want to learn new things, and I want to apply those things to this channel. A dream would be to have the opportunity to work with one of these artists that I admire. You know, I already know that Kanghyun from ONEWE is aware of my stuff, and we've actually talked on Bubble, which is still mind-blowing to me. But unfortunately, he's in the military right now, and I miss him. But he'll be back before I know it. But I would love to work with one of these groups, right? Which would be insane. I don't know if it would mean me playing live with them. I'd be down in a heartbeat, or if it's just being featured on a song or whatever. But I think eventually, I don't know if it'll happen this year or if it'll happen in 5 years, but I think the goal would be, a dream would be to do that as well. So who knows when that's gonna happen? Who knows who's watching or who's not watching? But yeah, so great question. Thank you for that one, Cosmic Beauty. I don't know. Andrew Andrew Tour. Nah. No. First of all, I don't know if I would be able to play on the same stage as Kanghyun, right? Like, he's just so freaking good. And I know that when I make mistakes, he's gonna know that they're mistakes because of how good he is. It's just really intimidating. So, I don't know. I would do it in a heartbeat though. Like, if any of these people asked me to, I would make it work. So, Maybe he does. I don't know if this is actually going to get back to him, but one of my goals, long-term goals, I do want to learn his solo piece Space and do a cover of that for him being released from the military. I started learning it last year and got through like 2/3 of the song at a slightly slower speed than the full speed, you know, but it's challenging. And so I'm gonna have to start practicing that again. Yeah, and I still need to learn the solo for Montage, which is insanely hard. Oh man. So anyways, hopefully there will be a cover of Space coming. Oh, Vicky's asking about Reason by Dreamcatcher, an amazing song. I actually heard my buddy Rob Ethereal, check out Rob's channel, he does guitar covers as well. He did a cover of that song, it was amazing, so go check that out. All right, so moving on. That was the only channel member question we had. Oh, hey, she's here. What's up? I just answered your question. I don't know if you caught all of that, but I just answered your question about what my goals were. Yeah, even if I just got, oh sweet, okay good, I'm glad you saw that. Yeah, even if I just got to meet ATs because of my YouTube channel, that would be a highlight of my life. I don't know what I would say. I don't know if I'd be able to speak clearly, but it would be really nice. It would be really nice. I'm gonna take a sip of my peach fruit tea from Ifon down the street. Not a sponsor, but if you ever wanted to sponsor the channel, go for it. I love the tea. Yeah. They might. The crazy thing is, like, I do think that at least one of the members has seen one of my covers, which is insane, you know? But I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, right? Anyways, moving on. So 2 people actually asked this question. MJ and, okay, I'm probably gonna butcher this, and I apologize. Gail Belletti, your YouTube handle. They both asked, what are your favorite musical genres? So I'm guessing this means outside of K-pop, because I do listen to a lot of music. K-pop is for sure the thing that I listen to most, but when I'm working, fun fact, I actually can't listen to music with lyrics where people are singing, because it distracts me. Like, I get really distracted by what they're saying. It's like I can't listen to podcasts or audiobooks or watch TV while I'm working. It's just, there's no way. I get distracted. So a lot of the other music that I listen to is instrumental. I love ambient music. So artists like Lowercase Noises, he's incredible. There's a guy that I know personally from when I used to live in Minneapolis, Ambient Endeavors. He's incredible, but it's a lot of like really spacey, like guitar heavy music. Think of like, or Explosions in the Sky is a great band, but it's like really heavy, but really heavy guitar music that's really pretty. It's very melodic, it's very spacey, very ambient, and I listen to a lot of that. And then the opposite side of the coin is like instrumental prog rock and prog metal. So like Polyphia and Intervals and guys like Steve Vai, and I'm trying to think, I was on a kick of like a bunch of different people lately and I just had them on shuffle, but like it's very guitar heavy, very technical playing. Or bands like Snarky Puppy that are like jazz fusion type bands. I love listening to music that is really musically complex and features a lot of guitar, which probably isn't a surprise. But yeah, so that's what I listen to. So instrumental music. I do like lo-fi hip hop a lot. I like neo soul guitar stuff and how like those two genres kind of cross over with one another. film scores. So like, for example, I think I mentioned this during my last, no, I mentioned it during my reaction video for Halazia, but Interstellar's film score is one of my all-time favorites by a long shot. Love that film score. Oh, playlist. I could do that. Yeah, if anybody wants a playlist of some of the instrumental music I listen to, it ranges, but if you want some of that, I can definitely do that for sure. But yeah, film scores. I don't always listen to film scores because I have this bad habit of being able to visualize, and it's not really a bad habit unless I'm concentrating, but like I can visualize moments in movies, especially ones that I've seen a lot. So for example, the Star Wars soundtrack. Cannot listen to any of the Star Wars soundtracks while I'm working. Can't do it. if I'm concentrating on something else, it can't happen, because like I know those movies so well that I begin to like visualize what's happening, right? So I can't do that. I can listen to the Interstellar one if the volume's lower enough, because I haven't seen the movie enough times to be able to like know like I can't picture it the same way. But yeah, it's definitely a problem. So yeah, that's basically what. All the Bright Lights is another really great ambient guitar heavy band. But yeah, and it's funny because a lot of the things that I do in my covers have been derived from those instrumental influences, especially intervals and polyphia. So yeah, great question though. K-pop is like really the only music right now that I listen to with lyrics, with like actual vocals in it, which I don't know if I realized until just now. But anyways, okay, moving on. Who are your favorite guitarists, and who/what inspired you to learn how to play? This is a really interesting question, because I'm definitely for those of you wondering what's playing in the background right now, I have a playlist that I made called Faves, and anytime I hear a song and I just fall in love with it, it just goes on this playlist. And this is the playlist that like I listen to in the car, or sometimes when I'm exercising. Some of the songs aren't great for exercising, but anyways, this is like my go-to K-pop playlist. It's like my own version of the K-pop on playlist on Spotify, but it's just my highlights. So there's a ton of stuff in this playlist you'll be hearing throughout this stream, and I'm gonna get copyright claimed for every single one of these songs. So here's to not making any money on YouTube because of copyright claims. Yes, I have heard of One OK Rock, and they're great. They are great. I have not listened to them enough. I have not done them justice. Another Japanese rock band, Flow. The band Flow. They did a lot of the early Naruto Shippuden OST songs. I love listening to Flow. So anyways, favorite guitarist and what inspired me to learn how to play guitar. So I'll address what inspired me to learn how to play guitar first, and it's gonna be hilarious. All right, so prepare yourselves. Guitar Hero 3. Guitar Hero 3 was what inspired me to play guitar. So I had 2 times in my life. Actually, okay, so 3 of the biggest things that I've done in my life, right? Being martial arts a long time ago, skateboarding was a big part of my life, and then guitar were all inspired by media, different types of media. So martial arts was inspired by an anime, Rurouni Kenshin. Skateboarding was inspired by Rocket Power. If you're old enough to know what that is, you know, it's a good show. And then Guitar Hero 3, right? And so it was one of those things where I had a friend in my neighborhood, and we played a ton of Guitar Hero, and I was like, there's some really, I was captivated by the sounds, that the breadth of the sounds that the guitar can create. And I was just like, man, I'd love to be able to do this for real and not just like just clicking buttons, you know, that annoying button clicking, which by the way, I'm terrible at Guitar Hero and Rock Band. I can't play it. It was funny. The better I got at guitar, the worse I got at that. So I know some guitar players that are really good at Guitar Hero. I can't do it. But yeah, it was just, one day I wanted to learn how to do it, and I remember I borrowed a guitar, I think, from my neighbor, I think. It was like an old guitar, and the music for the musicians in the chat, the action, which is the height of the strings from the fretboard, was like insanely high, and it was really difficult to play. But I started picking up on random things here and there, and I was almost entirely self-taught until I went to college. So that's another story for another day. Who are my favorite guitarists though? For sure Kang Hyun from One We. He is such a phenomenal musician. Even on like a base level, people recognize how amazing he is, but from like a technical standpoint, as someone who has been playing the same instrument for many, many years and knows a lot more of the intricacies, his technique, his rhythm, his intonation, the way he plays notes, everything is just mind-blowingly solid. Like he's just such a good guitar player. Aaron Marshall from the band that I mentioned earlier, Intervals, is one of my favorite guitar players of all time. I love his approach to the instrument. The guys from Polyphia are amazing. Fingerstyle guitar player Andy McKee, actually played one of his songs for my senior recital for my college degree. He is just a beautiful composer and an amazing fingerstyle player. Let's see, there's so many. I love Steve Vai, his playing. There's a guitar player in the like worship ambient guitar world named James Duke, who is one of my all-time favorites. Oh man, who else? There's so many. Like I know if I had a list, it would be like, oh yeah, and this person, and then this person, and then Ariel Posen, Joey Landreth. They're two like modern slide guitar players that are incredible. Pliny, I forgot about Pliny. Pliny's another like prog metal guitarist. Miyavi, yes, Miyavi is amazing. I just watched a movie with him in it on Netflix. It was really good. So yeah, Miyavi he's great, and his signature guitar he has through Fender Japan is really, really cool. So I was really excited for him when that came out. So yeah, there's a lot. Okay, Moon, who is also here in the chat right now, shout out, asks, what was the first song I learned how to play on guitar? So I want to say it was Ode to Joy on like the high E string, single notes, really bad. But I don't know if that counts as like a song. It was just the melody, right? I would say the first like actual song or like riff I learned, if it wasn't Smoke on the Water, which is hilarious. If you're a musician, that's a meme in and of itself. But I would say there was a song by the band The Almost called Say It Sooner that I learned the main riff of. And it's in drop D tuning, so you have to tune the low E string down a full step, and I didn't know that. So I just played it with the normal standard tuning. It sounded terrible. But man, when I got that down and I finally learned how to tune the guitar, it was golden. It was golden. Yeah. So The almost, I think that was like the first like riff I learned. Yeah, so Ash, are you what? Am I hitting so many throwbacks for you right now? Is that what's happening? Because if so, that's awesome. If anyone knows who the Almost is, I'll be very impressed. Because that's a deep cut. That's a deep alternative rock cut from like the mid 2000s. So yes, I'm so glad you know who they are. So anyways, I think it was those two. But I if I remember correctly, the first ever like musical thing I learned was Ode to Joy, and it was on like page 2 of like a beginner guitar book that one of my friends had down the street for me. So yeah, yes, the Almost. Oh, you know them too, Moon? I'm guessing you know Under Oath too then, probably. If so, that's a whole nother conversation and a rabbit hole I could go down. But, okay. Moon also asks, do I play any other instruments? Yes. So, for both fortunately and unfortunately. So, I say unfortunately because I had to learn piano as part of my music degree, which is in and of itself is a very good skill to have as a musician, right? Especially when I'm like writing original music and like I have a MIDI keyboard that I use. It does really help to have a general idea of like where the notes are, how to make chords and stuff like that. But it was not my favorite part about my music degree, I'll tell you that, because like we had to be tested on things like playing all the major scales with 2 octaves and playing minor scales with 2 octaves, and like it was these things called proficiencies, and you would go into a room with 2 piano instructors, and I'm a guitar major, like piano's not my main instrument, and they would quiz you, and if you failed you had to wait until the end of the next semester. No, I was not the only one. So to provide more context, all the guitar majors, bass, drums, all the instrumental majors had to learn piano. Vocal majors, I think, had to learn guitar and piano. But obviously I didn't have to do guitar. Well, okay, so I didn't have to do guitar proficiencies, but when I was, so our lessons were counted as a class, right? So I had a semester of guitar lessons every semester that I was a music major. And at the end of every semester of those, we had what's called juries, which I think are pretty universal among a lot of different music programs, but at least for us, they were called juries. And what we did was we had to bring 2, 3, or like a handful, 1 or 2 pieces, and then like a skill that we had learned throughout the semester, and present it to not only our guitar teacher, but also like 1 or 2 other guitar teachers that weren't our teacher. And it was super intimidating because the teachers were really, like my guitar teacher, shout out to Kyle Tennis, the man, the myth, the legend. He's a monster player. Like he's so good. And it's just really intimidating having to play in front of those people who know the instrument way better than you do. So I had my own guitar tests of my own, but so yeah, I had to learn piano through college, and then bass guitar is technically played a very different way, but the music theory between 6-string guitar and bass guitar is almost the exact same, right? Bass guitar, only a typical bass guitar is the first 4 strings, the lowest 4 strings on a guitar. So you can play a lot of the same things, but I would never call myself a bassist because I have bass player friends, and it's a whole different world. Like, you have to approach it completely differently. The theory is the same, but I mean, the execution is completely different. So, yeah. Degree, yeah, I did put in a lot of work for the music degree. Should have practiced way more. Went through 4 semesters of music theory. A lot of random other classes that I had to do. I had to be in choir. I don't sing. I don't hate singing, but I don't like performing. But I had to sing in a choir in front of people. That was a whole thing. I was definitely a tenor, but I should have been a baritone because some of the tenor parts were really high and my voice got scratchy because of those. And then, of course, at the end of my degree, I had to prepare a performance. Prepare a performance. I think I said that right. Which was, in my case, 30 minutes of uninterrupted musical performance by me. So I ended up doing 2 fingerstyle acoustic pieces because they want to see some diversity. So it was just me. That was terrifying. There's no effects. It's just you sitting on a stage in front of a room full of people with an acoustic guitar, no band, nothing. I literally forgot where I was in one of the songs. And luckily, only my wife, who had heard me practice it 7,000 times, and my guitar teacher realized it, so that was good. And then the last 3 songs were full band pieces that I arranged. I learned and arranged with myself, a bass player, a keys player, and a drummer. So, a lot of fun. But it was really hard. It was really hard. So, anyways, long story short, I do play other instruments. Andrew Tor, nope, I do not have enough solo guitar repertoire for that. Gosh, I'd love to go on tour with someone and play for them, but not me by myself. I don't know if I can do that. Okay, so this was a really good question, and I'm gonna have to stop myself from getting too nerdy. Okay, yes, okay, Empire Radio, Jeremiah, you're correct. Part of my recital is actually on my channel, and so there was a period of time where I wasn't doing YouTube, but I had YouTube videos, and the final bit of my recital, which was a Star Wars medley, an instrumental medley of Star Wars songs, is actually on my channel. If you go way back to the very beginning, it's on there. So it was a much younger, in some ways more technical player than I am now, but yeah, it's on there if you want to go watch it. So this is a really good question from Sanimal Crossing. It's like Animal Crossing with an S, and it's San. I know it's San. I know it's an AT's reference. A, is that my mother and father-in-law? Davis and Tanya? What's up, y'all? Y'all should be asleep right now, because on the East Coast, it's almost 10 o'clock. Don't stay on here too long. Make sure you get your rest. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, this is a really good question. How do you come up with what to add to the songs you cover? I could do a whole live stream on this, but I'm gonna try not to. So as an instrumentalist, it was beat into me throughout college that a good musician always serves the song, right? Half of the time when I'm playing music, I'm playing and supporting someone, a vocalist. If you're playing in a jazz trio, right? A lot of times piano will take the melody and you're the support for that. So in those instances, serving the song is just playing your parts, doing it well, and not getting in the way, right? And then in some cases, serving the song might mean that in some instrumental cases, like I'm playing the melody or I'm taking a solo, and then serving the song is playing things appropriately. So if for example, if I'm playing like a country gig or whatever, I'm not gonna get up there and shred, like metal style. It just doesn't work, right? You have to serve the context that you're playing in. And so with guitar covers, it's really interesting because the point of the video is to showcase the guitar, right? The reason I make these videos is because I want to show my take on these songs. But to serve the songs that I'm covering, there is such a thing as playing too much, right? So if I played over Halazia from start to finish, nonstop, and just soloed. Some of you might enjoy that, but it doesn't work. Like if I'm stepping over what these artists are doing vocally too much, you lose the context of the original song, right? And it becomes all about me. So in finding out what I want to play, it always comes back to a balance of adding something new to the song that's not already there, but not playing too much, right? Which is a very hard balance to find. And there are times that I write parts and I get really excited about things, and then I listen to them and I'm like, you know what? That, as cool as this is, it doesn't work. It's too distracting, right? So certain things that I look for when I'm preparing to cover a song is like, are there any guitar parts already in certain songs? For example, if I'm covering a One We song, there are already going to be guitar parts in that song, right? Some of them I'm going to want to cover myself. Kang Hyun's solos, for example. Like, those are songs that I tend not to write my own solos for because there are already really beautiful solos in them. I'm going to play those parts. The other thing is like, are there certain hooks or melody lines that would be accented with the guitar that sound really cool? So one example of that is in Gorilla, the bump 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 bump. Like, that's such a iconic part of that song. It's the main like musical riff of that song, and so I decided to cover that with the guitar. Same thing, I'm working on a cover of, here's a spoiler, of Virus by Victon for One Cosmic Beauty, who is one of my channel members and requested this song. By the way, you can request songs if you join a certain tier. You have one song request, so if you want to get on that, that's how to do it. But I'm working on a cover of Virus by Victon, and there's this melody line that right out of the beginning of the song, I'm going to want to cover that, right? So it's like, one, are there already guitar parts? Two, are there melodies or riffs that deserve to continue to be in the spotlight? And then the rest of it is like writing parts in the space that the song has without doing too much. And the only way I know how to the only way I can explain that I learned how to do that was from trial and error and from many years of being a guitarist in different settings. You really have to play music and mess up a lot to be able to understand what is appropriate and what's not. So, like, for example, if for my cover of Halazia, if I just played country riffs, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all. It'd be really freaking weird if I just played country stuff over it, you know? So it's always trying to find that balance. Long story short, to bring it all the way back, to summarize everything I just said, the ultimate goal is finding balance of adding something new because it is my personal take as a musician of these songs, but not adding so much that it takes away from what's already there, because I do want everyone to enjoy these songs and it feel like it's just me kind of playing along with them and I added something, rather all of a sudden these songs become the Andrew Show too much. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that made sense. But there are behind that response is many years of trial and error, and having moments where I played the right thing and it went super well, and having moments where I look back and I'm like, maybe I should not have done that. So, but that's a great question. That's such a good question. Moving on, Clara Grady asks, favorite guitar. So, I don't know, Jim from Glory Guitars, he was here. He was here before I started. I don't know if he's here still, but one second. But yes, it's this guitar. This is my favorite guitar. Hey, Jim. So for everyone in the chat, Glory Guitars. That is, it's this Glory Guitars. I gotta get it in front of my face. So this is my favorite guitar that I own. So I have a few guitars. I have the purple one that matches Kang Hyun's, the Majesty. I have the black one that was also made by Jim. I have this one. And this by far is my favorite because this one was one that I actually conceptualized and built with him rather than the others being purchases that were already made. So this was an idea that I came to him and I was like, hey, I want this look, this color, you know, this electronics combination, everything. And he knocked it out of the park. So this guitar has been in so many videos. So many of my videos, and his guitars in general have been all over my videos. In fact, until I got that purple Majesty, the one that Kang Hyun plays, literally the only electrics in my videos were his guitars exclusively. So he does incredible work. If you're a guitarist and you want an amazing, you know, custom hand-built instrument, Glory Guitars, check him out. It's on Instagram, gloryguitars.com. On YouTube. I've actually done demo work for him too. So yeah, Jim's the man. He's a phenomenal guy too. So I can't say enough good things about him, but like seriously, this is my go-to. Actually, Jim, I'm actually kind of sad that I'm in LA because this needs a fret level pretty bad. Like I've played this thing into the ground and it's lasted. How long have I had this guitar? Like 5 years almost, and it's finally starting to need some fret work, and I need to find a place locally, a good place locally to take it because I got to keep playing it. So anyways, this is my favorite guitar that I own. So it's a workhorse of an instrument. Okay, so moving on. This is a really good question from Moon. FedEx. No. Oh gosh, Jim. I don't know if I want to ship because of my job now. Like I hear horror stories so much from people that like never get their packages delivered now, and I'm like, I swear if this gets lost, like it would break me to my core. So I thought about it. I thought about sending it your way, but I'm like, oh man, I just don't know if I should, but we can talk about it. I'll text you. So this is a really good question from Moon. When did you first get into K-pop, and who was the first group you discovered? All right, so I actually have my wife to thank. I didn't know what K-pop was. I knew what J-pop was, and I knew what J-rock was because I was so into anime, way more than I am now. When I was in like high school and early college, like I consumed so much anime content, and of course there's so much like Japanese rock music in those. So I had been very familiar with other, you know, like Asian forms of music, but I wasn't really aware of K-pop as what it was until my wife found BTS from the BBMAs, I think it was the Billboard Music Awards, but they performed DNA. It was during the DNA era, and she fell in love with them, started listening to them, and I thought it was super, super cool, but then it didn't hit until I saw the music video for Mic Drop, the Steve Aoki remix. And I remember like being blown away by the talent that I was watching. I was like, holy crap. Like these guys are dancing extremely well. Like the choreo for that song is really cool. And of course, like we all know this, but K-pop, there's this like explosive, powerful quality to the performances. Most of them, that is very captivating as an artist, if you're an artist of any point, or a normal person really. But like for me as a musician, I was so captivated. It's your birthday? He-Man 15? It's your happy birthday. I hope it's amazing. I hope it's an amazing day. I hope it's been an amazing day. I hope it continues to be an amazing day. Congratulations. You made it. Another year around the sun. That's worth celebrating because this world it's tough. But yeah, so I got into, I saw that music video and I was astounded because in America, I want to say this carefully, but American artists, in my perspective, are very hit or miss, right? Some of them can perform like their lives dependent on it. Like Adele, for example. Beautiful voice. No, like, there's no question about if she can sing or not, right? Performers like Prince, obviously people like Michael Jackson. There are a lot of really, really talented, really amazing performers. And then there are not those. And there are many that rely on a lot of extra things like auto-tune, backup dancers, large stage performances to compensate for their lack of natural ability. And this sounds really bad and really mean. And it is. But there are some people that I've seen perform live, on YouTube or something, and it's been more raw, it's been less produced, and I'm like, this doesn't match up with what is on the album all too much. And so for me, seeing BTS perform, obviously they're not perfect, right? All of our favorite artists, K-pop artists, have had vocal cracks. They have moments where their choreo isn't as crisp. They have moments where they don't perform as well. That's part of being human, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. But the thing that captivated me about K-pop was, on average, the standard was way higher. The vocalists were consistently great. The dancing, the choreography, the performing was consistently at a high level, and many of them could hold their own as like a solo artist or a group by themselves without the need of anything. Like, ATEEZ could get on a stage with no lights, nothing, perform, and still captivate an audience. Some people in America can't do that. So, long story short, I was blown away by BTS, and as with many people, BTS was the gateway drug into the rest of the K-pop community. I remember specifically the first time that my wife played Hala Hala in the car. That was literally the moment. I remember where I was on the road in Minnesota at the time, driving. We were both in the car. She played it. I had no idea what it was, but I heard Jongho sing, and I remember thinking, that is so freaking high for a male vocalist. How does he do that? That's amazing. And then from there on, I was an ATEEZ. And that was really shortly after they debuted too. It was like right when Hala Hala first came out. And I didn't even know how to say ATEEZ. I thought it was 80s. Like an idiot. Anyways, but great question. Do you tend to be more interested in vocal, rap lines, or choreo? Yes. Question mark. So it depends. There are certain rappers, like, I love Bobby. I love Bobby's rap voice. Like, I love listening to his music. Juhan, his rapping, him and IM going back and forth, it's just, like, there are certain rappers that stand. Hans from Victon, love Hans. He is one of the best rapping voices I've heard. I don't know what it is about his voice, but I personally love it. But with certain groups, like I don't listen to Dreamcatcher necessarily. Like, I love Dami's rapping. Dami's a great rapper. But Dreamcatcher, to me, I really enjoy their vocals more so, because they're such a vocally strong group. And then choreo, I don't know. Some days I'm in the mood for choreo. One of my favorite dancers, J-Hope, Hobie, he's such a freaking good dancer. I love watching him perform, especially his most recent solo stuff. Like, yeah. You had a call with Hans? Was it like one of those fan video calls? Yeah, I've heard he's a really nice guy, like a really really nice guy. So that doesn't surprise me. But I would say the things that catch my attention the most in songs, the most quickly, are rap lines. Either rap lines or really technical vocal lines. Those are the two things that catch my attention the quickest in a new song. So yeah, there's first group I discovered was BTS, and then it was the Rabbit Hole after that. It's all history from there. Okay, no, wow. Okay, Moon, sorry. 17, I'll say it right here. 17, the kings of synchronization. Kings of synchronization. I can confidently say after seeing them live, they are inhumanly in sync for humans. Like, what do I think about Dreamcatcher? Their choreo is amazing. Like, I saw them live too, and they nailed all their choreos. But the thing that I like most about Dreamcatcher is their vocals. Like, they have such nice voices. But yeah, Dreamcatcher nailed their choreo. They did such a good job, and the thing that I loved about their performance that show was that they didn't change outfits, and they didn't change outfits. And it's a weird thing to say, right? But I'll explain. They didn't change outfits because they didn't want to take any time, because it had been so long since they had toured internationally. They didn't want to take any time changing away from the fans, which I thought was incredible. And they nailed their choreo. But the icing on the cake for that night for me was hearing all of the vocals that I'm so accustomed to sound better live than they did on the recordings, which was just mind-blowing. 17, that was one of the funnest shows I've been to last year. Like, they're such a fun group. Bunch of clowns, right? But anyways, and their choreo, I mean, not a single person that I've seen this last year has been disappointing in the slightest. Not even close. Like, they're all amazing. Maribel asks, how do you see yourself in 5 years? That is a deep question. That is a really deep question. But I want to see myself as a better version of myself, a more mature, more seasoned version of who I am now, more disciplined, better developed, and I want to be having fun, and obviously still doing this, because this is like I don't even know if I had when I posted that cover of Thanks by ATEEZ, which is the very first K-pop cover I did. I don't even think I had the intention of making it into like a thing. It was just like, I wanted to do this. I wanted to combine my love of guitar with my love of K-pop, and that's what happened. And then eventually it became a thing. So fun fact, Ash, I'm also seeing CIX. And here's a little teaser. Someone else might also have the chance through my channel to see CIX in LA. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. But my wife and I are for sure going to see CIX. We're going to try to get tickets for Stray Kids, but that was a hot mess the first time around, and we did not get tickets. So we'll see about that. But Jackson Wang, shout out. He's coming to LA. Really pumped for that. Signed up for pre-sale for that. I was really hoping he was going to announce some US tour dates. Oh no. I'm sorry, Moon. It'll happen one day. I promise it will. It'll happen. But yeah, Jackson, I want to see him. I'm trying to think of who else. I don't know. I don't remember everyone. Yeah, I'm really excited to see CIX. JYP is going to be here in is going to be here in February, I believe. Or maybe he was already here, I don't remember. But he's going to be right down the street from where I live. And I'm like, do I spend the money on to go see JYP? Or do I not spend the money? Yes, Mamamoo needs to come to the United States. I need to see Mamamoo. I need to see, I don't know if this is ever going to happen, but I need to see GOT7. I swear, if RBW doesn't let 1 Week come on tour at some point to the United States, I'm going to go to the building and protest out front. But yeah, ATEEZ just needs to go on tour again. Well, they need rest, and then they need to go on tour again. But anyways, so yeah, there's that. Last question. Aside from music, this is from MJ. Aside from music, what are other things that you're passionate about? Things you enjoy? This is pretty obvious from my reaction videos, but I love videography. I am really amateur in some ways at videography. Like, I've gotten enough knowledge to be able to do the YouTube thing pretty well, but like I love cinematography and geeking out about that. I really enjoy photography. If you follow me on Instagram, it's a different handle. It's Andrew Martin Guitar. It was before I switched everything over to that K-pop guitarist. I just haven't switched it on Instagram. I post a lot of, oh yeah, this reminds me, Winter needs to come on tour. I just realized this was playing. Freaking Winter needs to come on tour, which is not going to happen because of the military service, but that's fine. Maybe when they're done, they need to come on tour. But yeah, photography. I post a lot of my photos on Instagram. So photography, videography. I'm a big Star Wars fan. If you can't tell. But I enjoy reading. I'm a really big coffee snob, which is a good thing and also a terrible thing. But I love craft coffee and making coffee at home. Trying to think. Coffee, photography, Star Wars. Excuse me. Here's a little behind the scenes thing. So Empire Radio, who was here in the chat, I don't know if Jeremiah's still here, but I actually used to be on that podcast as one of the hosts, and it was such a freaking fun time. Gosh, we had so much fun. They're still doing it. The other two guys, Jeremiah and my friend Drew, are still doing it, but I had to take a step back because things were just getting so busy. But I had the amazing opportunity to actually, hey, Jeremiah's still here. Nope, I can't, buddy. If I could, I would totally come back. But I had the honor of like starting that podcast with them and carrying them through over 100 episodes before I had to take a step back. But if you're into Star Wars, they make great Star Wars content. So there's a little nerdy tidbit from me about that. I enjoy movies a lot. I enjoy geeking out about movies. With what little knowledge I have, one of my most favorite movies as of late was The Batman. Loved that movie. You with Andrew. Maybe one day we'll bring it back. But yeah, I mean, the main thing outside of like music for me right now is photography. I would say I have a Canon G7X Mark II. It's like the older version that I carry around with me, and it takes surprisingly good photos for being such an old camera. And they have this kind of, they don't look like analog film, but they have a film kind of quality to them that I like. And so I always have it with me. The battery life is amazing, and I just take it wherever I go. And so if I see something, I'm just like, take it out. And it's so small. And it's like one of the ones where the lens comes out of the front and then retracts back in, you know? So I just take that around and I take pictures when I see cool things. And then eventually I'll like upload them into Lightroom and do stuff with them and then post them in batches or whatever. But I would say that's the thing. That and trying to get better at making coffee. So anyways, but yeah. Okay, so We have been going for right at an hour now, and I want to try to keep this as close to an hour as possible because I'm going to do more of these, right? But I wanted to see if there was like one question, if anyone had one more question from the chat that wasn't previously submitted, and I was going to give the opportunity to answer one of those as well. I also have so much tea left that I need to drink. This is my favorite fruit tea. It's got crystal boba in it. It's good stuff. Anything from what we talked about? I'll give it like 2 minutes to see if we have one more question before we wrap up. Ash, I haven't played Scarlet or Violet. I'm so sorry. The last one I played was Sword. So sorry. Sorry, I haven't played. I wanted to get it. I haven't gotten it yet. But yeah, the last Pokemon game that I played. Okay, actually, the last Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Snap because they released the not the new one, the old one, because they released a bunch of N64 games for Switch, and we were playing through those. So there you go. Sword, yeah, I loved Sword. I spent so much time playing Sword. Jeremiah asks, all of canon and non-canon Marvel versus all of canon and non-canon Star Wars. Oh, good to know. If I get Scarlet, I'll definitely let you know. Who would win, like in a fight? All of Marvel versus all of Star Wars in a fight, or just like the quality of the stories? Because I feel like Marvel has an unfair advantage of superpowered people versus Star Wars. Fight, it's gonna be Marvel. I feel like, because like Marvel's thing is like everyone has a superpower, whereas like Star Wars, not everyone has a superpower. Like, I'm sorry, like Han Solo would lose in a fight to somebody like, even like Hawkeye, I feel like, in some ways. But if it was, I mean, like the Jedi and the Sith were super powerful, but like, I don't know, I feel like they'd be at a disadvantage against people like Storm. I don't know. I don't know. I would say Marvel. That's my final answer. Locking that in. Does Han shoot first? Yes. Oh, how do I feel about the direction of the storylines for Star Wars since Disney took over? Okay. So, fun fact. During my time on the Empire Radio podcast, I spent a lot of time talking about this. We collectively spent a lot of time talking about this. But and I've spent so much time thinking about this, but my most recent thought is that it feels like they're grasping at straws. And I feel like it lacks a lot of direction. I think Andor was a masterpiece, without question. I enjoyed Andor more than a lot of other Star Wars content in recent years. I think Mando has been great. Shows like Rebels and Clone Wars have been amazing. But I feel like Star Wars has been kind of floundering a little bit and has been playing a game of like damage control and fixing. Tales of the Jedi was amazing, by the way. Yes, I did. It was incredible in every way. But I just think the general direction has been weird, you know. Obviously, I don't think they had a plan with the sequels, and that was very evident. That's a whole other live stream we could talk about. But yeah. So yeah, that's my answer without having to go any deeper. I'm a big lover of the expanded universe, and I deeply respect what Star Wars is still, because that's the content we got. And there's nothing we can do about it, right? I enjoy that content, but I don't think it's better than the older expanded universe content. And I have my own gripes with the sequels. Obviously, I love Clone Wars, Rebels. Andor was fantastic. Mando's been fantastic. Book of Boba Fett was a thing. It was a thing. It was enjoyable. But yeah, I think the deepest wound for me is that we didn't get a shot at another story for the sequel trilogy. But that's it. Kenobi was great. There were parts of Kenobi I wish they had done things differently. But all in all, Kenobi, like especially the moments between him and Vader towards the end, freaking beautiful. But I do wish that had been less. This might cause some problems, but I do wish that it had been less about Leia, him and Leia. But that's just me. I thought the actress who played Leia was brilliant, and I thought they nailed her character very on point with that. I very much enjoyed her being in the show. I just wish that it had been different, and there had been more of him struggling with his past in a more open way, in the way that we see in the Kenobi novel. But this is a K-pop stream. We're getting too deep into this now. So anyways, maybe I can do a Star Wars stream later. But here's a shameless plug. There are over 100 episodes of me with the Empire Radio podcast. So if you do want to listen to my thoughts on a lot of Star Wars and hear me commentate and go way in depth with stuff, go listen to Empire Radio Star Wars podcast. So yeah, anyways, great question. Did not expect that at the end of this stream, but let's go. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Drop the link. Hey, Jeremiah, I know you have it. Links.co/Empire Radio. Is that still a thing? You guys still have that? But Jeremiah will drop it in the chat. But thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna try to do at least one stream a month. Don't hold me to that, but that is the goal this year. Is take 1 weekend out of every month and do a stream. And on those weekends, not gonna do a cover because I'm trying to take better care of myself and not try to push things too hard and avoid getting burnt out. So hopefully do one of these every month. Covers are returning next week with that Victon cover that I mentioned. Really excited about it. Started working on it today. I think it's going to be great. And then, of course, as artists come out with new music, more reactions, more covers, all that's coming. Hopefully, I'd love to expand into different types of content too. So obviously there will be more concert vlogs. Excuse me. Those will be coming when I do go to concerts, but I'd like to start doing other things too and just explore, see what can happen. But thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Here's to a decade more of doing this with everyone. Who knows how long, but thank you for being here and supporting me and asking questions, listening to me answer them, and I I'm just very honored and blessed to be able to make content that all of you enjoy. So never thought I'd be making guitar covers, but I still love it, and I'm glad that you all do too. So yeah, but without further ado, I'm gonna end things. Go chill. Oh yeah, I would love to collab, Ash. So we can talk about that for the future. But yeah, hopefully this year will include more collaborations, more maybe in-person meetups. I'd love to do that. But that's for another time. We can talk about that later. So without further ado, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I'm Andrew. See you in the next stream. Hope everyone is staying safe, staying healthy. Happy New Year to you all, if I haven't told you already. And yeah, I'll talk to you.